Kendra here, and this is a podcast where you can come get your daily dose of laughter, sex, a mental health check-in, or just simple conversation. Stay tuned as I give you something worth listening to. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Something Worth Listening to. Now, this week I am excited because I will be joined by a guest. Who is the guest, you ask? Now, I know you guys seen on my Insta, SWLT by Ken, who it was. Now, to properly introduce her, I have Juriah Mone here. Now, Juriah Mone is a 23-year-old entrepreneur. She is the founder and host of the Note to Self podcast. It is a podcast where she encourages her fellow women to remain positive, love themselves, and stay motivated to reach all that they want in life. Juriah Mone is also the CEO of Serenity Scent Candles, a candle company she founded in 2020 where every candle is made with a blend of coconut, soy, wax, and crackling wood sticks. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for taking the time out and joining me. Welcome to the show.
I'm excited. I'm just like, when you hit me up, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm excited. So yeah, I'm excited to be here on a lovely Friday.
I wanted to talk to you about finding peace and building confidence and establishing self-discipline, because I feel like you are somebody that is very goal-orientated and your energy is radiant. Like I told you, I feel like you can see that through your Instagram. I feel like you offer, that song Just Like Magic by Ariana Grande?
Yeah, that's my song.
I feel like that's I'm like, wow, let me just bring her. And I feel like you do it in a way that's not you don't have to sit on a sink and show your ass to show that you're confident in who you are, Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to bring you on and have you speak on your opinion and how you got to where you are, because I personally feel like I struggle with that. I'm trying to find peace and trying to be confident, and I want to be as confident. So I'm like, you know what? Let me bring somebody on who I feel, represents that.
Yeah, I don't know, with me, I struggle just like everybody else. Even sometimes too, I still struggle, because nobody's perfect, so we all go through our moments, but I kind of got to a point where I'm more experienced with it, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I came a long way from certain struggles. But as far as peace and stuff, it took me, I just started finding motivational videos on YouTube and stuff like that, and just kind of watching other people and how they kind of cope with certain stresses or certain things that goes on in their life. So I kind of I knew I wanted to change, and I'm just me sitting there being in my feelings or crying about it, it's not going to help. So I'm just let me just try to do this, technique meditation or journaling. So it was a lot of trial and error that I had to go through to find out what helped me the most, with peace and stuff like that. But then, and also too, I don't know, I had to, at certain points, I had to step away from social media to kind of really figure out who I was, as a person. Because, we tend to, I lost myself. Honestly, what kind of motivated me to be peaceful is a heartbreak that I went through. That relationship literally took everything out of me. And I'm like, I got to find myself again. So I just would pray, take walks, and go to the gym, do therapeutic things to kind of really figure out who I am. And I had to look really deep inside myself. So it took some time. It was a lot of, the healing process is really, it's feels like hell sometimes. I don't know. I just gained my confidence back. I just figured out once you find out who you are and what your worth is, you gain that confidence. You're untouchable. Nobody can't touch you. You know what I'm saying? And then when stuff starts manifesting, it's kind of you turn it up a notch. You're
it's lit. So, okay. What do you think having a peace of mind looks like to you?
I don't know. Just doing what you like to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, something therapeutic. If you like to paint or do a massage or something like that, that's what I call having a peace of mind, that self, taking care of yourself, stuff like that.
So how long do you think that it took you to achieve the whole peace of mind thing? And how did you know what it was when you got there?
I would say 6 months to a year. I just found out sometimes you have those moments where you're just sitting there and you're just kind of reflecting. Because sometimes when you're going through the healing process or whatever it is, the days go by quick. So sometimes you get over and you don't realize it until one day you're sitting there and you're just having a moment you just kind of reflecting I really used to be here and now I'm here. You're just more I noticed when I started to become more happier, you know what I'm saying? Stuff started manifesting, stuff started appearing, everything was just aligning, and you kind of that's when okay, like I really am over all of that other stuff.
So I do therapy, you know, and I've spoken about it before. And when I first started, I was a mess, in my opinion, complete wreck. Like, handle yourself with grace. What the fuck was that? Like, stopping and thinking, reflecting, that was not even a thing. And the other day, like my last session, I was like, I got emotional and shit. I started crying, and he was like, what's going on? What happened? Is that like, why are you feeling, why you feeling emotional? And I said, because it's really crazy. Like, when you're self-aware and you want to work on who you are, like, you notice, in November, I was dead ass a mess. Now, like, I'm putting myself out there more, I'm freaking like stopping and trying to give myself credit. I'm not being too hard on myself. You need to find a balance, I feel like, between being realistic and handling yourself with grace, and then like noticing when, you being lazy and you falling off your shit,
Yeah. And I think that too, like, and that's good that you're going to therapy, because a lot of people are going to therapy, which I'm like, it's crazy because I did it without therapy. And it's like, to see people doing it with therapy, because I still want to try therapy just to see how it feels. But that's good that you're taking accountability. You know what I'm saying? You're taking accountability, and you doing what you got to do to kind of, change and be a better person, or get, just be in a better space mentally. But I don't know. I just always tell people, like, it's like, we got to take accountability. And plus, we all try to be perfect. And I'm like, I'm not perfect. That's why I'm so transparent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was like, we all have flaws, and I accept those flaws. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be comfortable with your flaws. Nobody's perfect. We're human. So we all gonna mess up.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. Like, I noticed is exactly what you just said. I used to like try and be like perfect. And even the people that I looked up to, it's like, oh, if they weren't perfect, then it was like, all right, why am I looking up to you? I had to like stop and realize, like, bro, like, that's not realistic, So like, loving yourself and loving someone else is just accepting that they're not perfect, and they're not going to be in that light that you want them to be all the time.
Yeah. And I think too, like, when you put out good energy into the universe, it don't matter if you mess up from here and there, because that's not really your intention to do so. Yeah. It's okay. Like, I just say that's the best part about being like human, is like, as long as you learn it from those mistakes or whatever, it's cool. Like, I just shake it off. It is what it is. Because sometimes I do beat myself up over stuff that I mess up on, but it's like, it is what it is.
So do you think that confidence and peace go hand in hand?
I think it definitely does, as far as that goes, because I feel like if you don't have peace, you're not going to be confident. You know what I'm saying? You're just not. It's going to be a bunch of chaos you're working on. And then it's like, on top of that, if you're not really confident, it's kind of like, then you're going to be focused on your looks, and, you're not looking right and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I think they definitely do go hand in hand. I know me, I just feel more peaceful when I am more confident, myself. I'm not worried about what nobody else looks, I'm just focused on me. So as long as I'm working on my inner peace, I just feel like that kind of makes your aura, you can tell, what I'm saying, your aura changes, and, you start to vibe high at a new vibration. So I think they go hand in hand. What about you?
Or yeah, I think they do, because even like in a group setting, right? Like, I just started talking to people on Clubhouse, right? Mm-hmm. So I ain't never met none of them a day in my life. They motherfuckers in freaking Brooklyn, like Queens, like Indiana, like just everywhere, right? So I noticed that the old me, like somebody who was not like one with who I am and just like trying to fit in, would just agree with a whole lot of other shit that they would say, even if I don't agree with it, So what I'm trying to say, like, it's a lot to try and fit in. It's a lot to go back and forth. It's a lot. Like, that's not peaceful. That's fucking, like what you said, it's chaotic. Like, I got to make sure I'm agreeing with this person and that person, and trying to make this person happy. Like, that doesn't show confidence. That doesn't show peace, So I don't know if I explained that right, but I think it goes hand in hand with each other. So
it definitely does. I'm just like, I just been feeling more confident now. I'm just like, cause I don't know, especially I think too, is a plus that I don't really pay attention to like guys like that, but they kind of like help it in a way. You get all this attention, so it kind of like, I don't really care for attention, but it's kind of like helps it out a little bit. But
and another thing too, no, for real, because like I got body, right? And I know that. Yeah. But I don't put it out there, and not to shame anybody who does. Like, do what you want, like different strokes, different folks. Like, sit on that same bitch, like she'll get it. But I'm just saying, I feel like when the right man steps into my life, like, of course he's gonna notice, but
it's kind of like a plus, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I got it, but that's like a plus.
Hey, I don't show, I'm not flaunting it. And not to say people flaunt their shit for different reasons. Like I said, different strokes, different folks.
Because they don't have that confidence, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, with who they are in a person. As a person, they don't. So yeah. When did you feel like this is who I am and this is what I have to offer? If you don't like it, then that's on you, type of thing.
As far as that goes, and I just been noticing this recently too, especially with me being like, my spirituality and stuff like that. Only because I feel like I'm not the only one, you know what I'm saying? When you realize you're not the only one who say acts a certain way or has a certain interest or does certain things, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know, like I can't really fake who I am, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is my personality. It's like kind of running away from yourself. And I was like, I can't run away from who Juriah is. This is me. So if I accept myself, then you're gonna have to accept me. And I realized too that everybody's not for you, you know what I'm saying? Everything and everybody for you. So also too, that kind of play a hand in that. I just had to talk to myself like everything happens for a reason. People get put in your life for a reason, you know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of how I started, realizing that like, this is who I am. And if you don't like it, I ain't your preference, you gotta deal with it. So that's just me. So.
Have you ever been, even like, I guess like you would say adolescence, have you ever been in a position where you people pleased because you wasn't happy with yourself or because you wasn't like one with what you have to offer?
Yeah, I felt like that with my last relationship. I'm like, I don't know, I felt like I had to be somebody who I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like I had to constantly look this way or be this way, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, that wasn't me. And that's how I feel like I lost myself. Like, that wasn't me. And I'm just like, yo, and then it's kind of like, I feel like I was chasing that person's attention too. So it's kind of like, I don't want to be a people pleaser. That's not who I am. I don't like to kiss ass or do nothing like that. What I'm saying? Anything that gonna cost me my energy, I don't want that. And I'm just like, when I got to that point in my life, now just looking back where I'm at now, I'm just like, man, what was I doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I don't want to be a people pleaser. I'm not here. I wasn't born to please anybody but myself. You know what I'm saying? So that was not my purpose, is not to be a people pleaser.
So what snapped you out of that? Because you was with him for a long time, not to be like all up in your business.
Yeah, no, it was like 2.5 years, even like last year, like I was dealing with him like early in last year, and then I kind of like cut it off. But yeah, made me snap out of it, because I just, like I said, like, I don't know, like it was just like when I started like realizing the people that I was attracting, like when you start noticing like there's different people outside of the person you're like used to, it's like, hold up. Like, you realize, what you can and can't attract. You're like, hold up. That's when I snapped out of it. I'm like, first of all, you're not even, you're not even up there with me. You know what I'm saying? Not to talk down on people, but when you kind of realize where you're at and where somebody else is at, like, yeah, it's like, no.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
I had to realize that. I said, oh no, I can't believe I was even tripping over that. You know what I'm saying?
Like, that was like my last like real relationship too. It's the same thing. Like, I felt like I had to constantly modify myself, or I couldn't say certain things, or I couldn't act a certain way because it wasn't cool with him, But then when he wanted to, do A, I had to be B. And when I wanted to be B, he had to be A. Like, just like that. Like, and I noticed too, like, and even like people close to me, they were just telling me like, yo, like, you good? Are you guys okay? Blah, 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 da, da, da. It's like he would make you feel guilty or make you feel kind of like lesser for being who you are, Yeah. And now I feel like when I joined that group like Clubhouse, I'm saying my shit, I'm saying my opinion, and they're like, yo, why you wasn't speaking up earlier? Like, I be shy sometimes. I know. But like, I was there, bro. The first day I joined that thing, I was quiet, like on mute the whole time. So like the next day I was like, all right, like, but I like to sit back and watch too before I put myself in a situation. But it's like, you were so like adjusted to somebody not caring about what you had to say, or like just quieting your voice, that you forgot how to fucking speak up. That happened to me. I don't know about you, but it's happened to me. Like, I know, like, I can't do. Now I'm trying to put myself back in a place where I'm not scared to say anything anymore, or I don't double think before I have to say something. It's just like, all right, well, I said what I said and I feel how I feel,
Yeah, and I think too, when people give you those compliments, like, first, like, I be thinking certain shit I be doing is like, a little bit, weird or something like that. But when people give you those compliments, stuff like that, it's like, oh, I didn't,
Okay, well, thank you.
Like this one guy, he had a crush on me. I'm like, me? I'm like, he's cute or whatever. I'm like, I'm thinking he was out of my league or what? Not really out of my league, but I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't think he would be checking for somebody for me. So I'm just like, I was just shocked. I'm like, I didn't even realize you had a crush on me. Like, I was throwing hints. I'm like, well, I couldn't. You wasn't throwing good enough hints. I'm like, but I just like that's how you know I'm just so focused on myself. Like I didn't even realize like somebody like me, and that kind of made me feel comfortable too with just being myself. I'm like, okay, so
what I do is okay,
Yeah, it ain't really as weird as I think it is, but
yeah. For those who are struggling to love themselves, do you have any specific advice besides just doing it?
I would say that you gotta really like treat yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, anybody can say they love themselves, but not really kind of like mean it. You got to really do it. Like, for instance, like, when a guy can tell you he loves you, but you want him to show it, you got to do that with yourself too. You know what I'm saying? Like I buy myself flowers. I take myself out to lunch, just start saying those affirmations too. Start, just doing it. Like I said, that's when the therapeutic stuff comes into play, because you want to do stuff that's going to make you feel good and vibrate high. Just make you feel like you that bitch. And you know what I'm saying? If if nobody love me, I love myself, period. I feel like self-love is important, especially with a lot of females, because it's like we don't know how to love ourselves. And I feel like you can't expect somebody to know how to, love you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why some females be so confused when it comes to guys. It's like, you don't know how to love yourself. You don't know what you like. You don't know what you don't like, So I think that that's important to go within as well, And I even write letters to myself, like love letters to myself, because I just feel like that's important as far as that goes. So I just tell people, take yourself out on a date. Don't, half of these relationship goals you see on the internet and stuff, half of the time you don't know what's going on behind those closed doors. Because I always say that a picture has 1,000 words. You don't know what's going on. So. Yeah. It's hard to do that, because at one point it took me a minute to accept myself, even my looks, and stuff like that. It took me a minute to be comfortable in my own skin and, love myself. But I was like, I'm good, single or not, I'm good. I'm gonna always have that self-love.
Yeah. And a lot of people, that's the thing too. A lot of the acceptance of who you are does come from the pressure of if you have a boyfriend or not, or, if you have, a partner. So, it was this one time we went to middle school with this girl, and we was on the bus, and we was talking about the same kind of thing, and she was like, oh, I love myself. I'll never not love myself. And I was looking at her because I had bad confidence issues. And I was looking at her like with admiration, because like, what do you mean? Like, how did you get there? Everyone says to just do it, but how do you get there? And she's just like, well, God didn't make me no other way. So that's it. She said, that's it. Why would I like not care about myself? Why would I want anybody to treat me bad? And that's another thing too. Like the whole self-love thing is not only just taking yourself out. It's just something as simple as, why are you talking to me like that? Like I'm not, don't talk down on me. Like I'm not that bitch. Like,
Period. And I feel like I even look at myself in the mirror every morning. Like at first I couldn't look directly at myself in the mirror, because I just had those issues. So now I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, my face breaking out or not, I don't care, because I already know, you know what I'm saying? I know what I come with, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't play about me, period. So period. I just feel like you gotta talk to yourself like that. You gotta boost your confidence, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I gotta give myself reality checks sometimes, and not all the time I feel like a confidence, not all the time, but when I do, trust me, I show out.
Period. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta get dressed up too. Sometimes it's all just simple as getting dressed, throwing on your favorite, outfit, doing something, that's gonna make you feel good.
And when you look better, you feel better.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, go get your nails done, your feet done, your hair done. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that.
We touched on it a little bit earlier, but what kind of affirmations do you tell yourself that has to do with the inside versus the out?
As far as those goes, I do like a lot of acceptance. Like I accept myself for who I am. I don't know. I don't know how I say it without putting the looks into it. I don't know. Like I just always tell myself, like, I'm that bitch, Like I don't know. Like that's how I just put it. Like I don't know. Then it just like changes everything. And I usually repeat it 3 or 4 times, I was just like, I just kind of mix it up a little bit. But I usually do like a lot of like, I'm healthy, I'm blessed, those type of ones, those
that's good too. Yeah, that's good. And it's true.
Yeah, those make me feel good about myself. Or I just say like, no, divine powers are always working for me because I do right. So I always say something like that, just to make sure like I'm protected in a way. So So yeah, I don't really have a lot of self-love ones. So I do need to work on them though. But I don't know, because sometimes it's like when I'm to a point where I kind of like, I already built up my self-love and that acceptance of myself. So I kind of like, I don't know, I do more activities now than say affirmations, if that makes sense. Like, that's just what I do.
What kind of activities do you do?
I like to go to a spa. I like to treat myself to a spa. I like to have brunch.
Nice massage, mimosas. Go ahead.
I like to read. I even like meditate. Like meditation is the main therapeutic activity. Like I'll start my day off with meditation. I like to stretch and stuff, like do yoga and stuff like that. And I even hang out with my sisters. I'm like, we all single, so I'm just like, And I even like to, cooking has been therapeutic for me too. I like to cook and make candles, of course. So
yeah.
What about you?
Affirmations that I tell myself. Things could be worse for me. Mm-hmm. I am blessed. I am lucky. And I just be like, I should work on saying it every morning. I don't, but I find myself doing it more when I need to pick me up, because the times that I would be hard on myself, I'm like, fuck, like you're this and you're that and da-da-da and da-da. Like I would take a mistake and take that shit and just drag it, But now I'm like, all right, you made a mistake. That's fine. Now you know what to do for the next time, kind of pep talk yourself. So I don't really do affirmations per se, but I do be telling myself you that bitch and you're gonna get to where you need to go. One thing about me is that I'm 110% confident in myself when it comes to financials, when it comes to getting another job, career wise, but I'm not really confident in what I feel that I have to offer people. Let's go.
Right.
I know what I have, but I just don't know why I can't operate you that bitch. I was talking to my therapist about it a couple weeks ago too. I know what I have. I know that I'm this type of person. I know I could be there for people. I know I could love the fuck out of somebody's son, or not even just love wise, any type of relationship. I know I could be there for people when they need that. And even if they don't, I just don't know why I don't believe it. And it's what can you do besides just do it? All you hear is just do it. You need to love yourself, or this and that, and da da da. But nobody's telling you.
Said than done.
Huh?
It's easier said than done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and again, going back to the whole perfect thing. Yeah. A lot of the times people think process is perfect. It's not perfect. You have to be okay with falling and getting back up.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And two, you know what also helps? I make a feel good playlist that. Music is my everything, and when I make my feel good playlist, when I'm in a car, I like to visualize myself as as my highest self, me driving in a new car, in my new home, stuff like that. That helps. I'm telling you, it helps, because when you can visualize yourself and you want to have that feel good playlist, it's man, listen, it's like a switch. It's like a switch. So
I'm a bad bitch. What the fuck? Yeah.
Right.
Mulatto. I love her. I do. See,
I never listened to her music before.
Mm-hmm.
I never listen to music, but I do like I said, I'm a fan of Nicki, so when I hear a Nicki Minaj song, she makes you feel like a pretty gangster.
Yeah.
I like that feel, and that's a lot of music nowadays too. I like, the female rap, I'm not really too much of a fan, but I'm not a hater or nothing like that, but it's just some of the music is catchy. It just makes you feel like a pretty gangster. That's how I feel. I feel like every female should feel like a pretty gangster.
Yeah. Back when Nicki first started, right? Mm-hmm. It would be oh, I'm the one and the only, da da da. It's only one female in this thing. But now I like to see that Sweetie, Doja, they did Best Friend, or Mulatto and Sweetie and Trina, they did Bitch from the South. Yeah. They're coming together.
Options now to kind of listen.
Or they're coming together. You could see that female empowerment, women empowerment. And they still calling themselves the baddest bitch, but nobody's offended because everybody could feel like they're the baddest bitch, It's that
gotta be just one.
Right. Yeah. It's that self-respect that they have for themselves. And it's not just because you say you're the baddest, it's not taken away from someone else feeling like they're the baddest.
Right.
So I feel in a way, I brought up Nicki because back then I felt that's when bitches was really being unwelcoming and stank, oh, I'm not about to fuck with her. Now you walk into a room, you're a pretty bitch, or you see other pretty bitches, we dead ass compliment each other,
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that. It's because before I hate pretty bitches who stank as fuck. Bitch, I just compliment you, and I took my time.
You are not the only one in this room.
Hello, right?
And it's pretty, but your attitude's ugly.
Ugly, yeah, and it does affect. It makes you ugly. Yeah. It does.
Yeah. And I just like people who I like females who do give compliments. It's enough room for everybody to win. So I'm just I really hate that hating energy. I'm just I don't like to sit around people who hate. And I'm all about good energy, you know what I'm saying? That's what I like to keep around with me. So I'm just if you're gonna just be all iffy around other people, then listen, you can stay home.
Period. Earlier this week, you had posted something, right? And it was a screenshot of a tweet. I had kept it. I was like, facts. You said, I hate when people say you never want to go out, etc. ... I would love to go out, but I have goals and I'm trying to accomplish, which requires me to cut certain shit out and stay disciplined. With that being said, I wanted to ask you, what does self-discipline look like to you? And what are some of the things you do to keep yourself self-disciplined?
As far as self-discipline, it's just what it looks like to me, just making sure you staying on top of your stuff. Like me, I gotta talk to myself 10 times out of the day to make sure that I'm on myself. I have to write out stuff and make sure that I'm on it. I just have to constantly remind myself. I'm getting better at it a little bit, but I have a routine, and the routine has been helping me make sure I stay disciplined. And I'm just Juriah, you trying to go here and you're not gonna make it there if you're gonna keep doing the same stuff that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's you want to move, so move. You want to get here, you can do it, but it's all up to you. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody holds themselves back. And as far as discipline goes, I like to challenge myself, so for instance, if it's for instance, I'm vegan or whatever, so that would I'm sorry. I was
just gonna bring that up. Yeah, I'm because that shit is OT, but go ahead.
It is because the thing is, I'm just I don't know, me being vegan, since I was able to cut out meat, that was the hardest thing, because we're not a lot of people are not disciplined with our diets and stuff like that. So I'm just with that, even now, even though I'm vegan, I'm still there's certain stuff I'm still not disciplined with, but it's just with that, my diet is if I can be disciplined with my diet, I can do anything else. You know what I'm saying? If I did this for a whole year and a couple of months, I can do everything else. And that kind of just, I said, I tell people to challenge themselves. If it's staying off of social media for a week or a few days, and then extend it out, you know what I'm saying? That's what discipline is. It's challenging yourself, but make it fun. Don't make it hard. You know what I'm saying? It don't gotta be hard, you gotta train yourself to be stronger than your thoughts. And that's what I do sometimes. I'm I gotta talk myself out of, certain things constantly. Even at work, sometimes I'm work, but gotta stay, disciplined if I want this money, so.
Well, and even if it goes little by little, it doesn't matter, because it's still better than where you were a week ago,
And I feel I'm always trying to, that's why I say go little by little, because everybody's trying to make this big move. It's you gotta crawl before you walk. So, and that's where people kind of fail when it comes to discipline, or fall off, because it's you're trying to take this big leap when you gotta take, you gotta take steps. You gotta take baby steps.
Yeah. So. Especially like you said, eating. I did being pescatarian, and just to try it, I did that shit for almost a year, right? And now I'm doing plant-based. I didn't take the leap and go cold turkey, because again, it's going to be you're depriving yourself. Don't deprive yourself. And I hate that word, in moderation, but that's literally what it is. You can still have the shit that you want to have, and not necessarily just food speaking, anything in your life. You just have to do that shit, little by little. So
you're going to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, now I do plant-based for health reasons and shit, but I still be eating burgers. I still eat stuff that's not plant-based. I just make sure the main thing that I'm eating, or the main meal that I ate that day, is plant-based.
You got to do what works for you. And that's what I always tell people, because what works for somebody else may not work for you. You got to go with your own pace when it comes to things. And I always tell people that. I'm sometimes your body, since we're speaking on diet, sometimes your body may need that. Everybody's body's different. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just and plant-based isn't necessarily just vegan, it's mostly fruits and vegetables, and 20, I do 80-20, 80% fruits and vegetables and stuff, and then 20% you want some meat or something like that,
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I was just being plant-based ain't really, because I'm me being vegan, I'm just because I'm vegan don't mean I'm healthy, you know what I'm saying? Because there's junk food vegans, I still have my little Oreo sometimes. I ain't supposed to eat it, but I just do it because I don't eat it all the time, so I don't beat myself up.
Yeah. I was watching this documentary about Demi Lovato. I don't know if you remember when she had her overdose and she almost died in 2018. She came out with a YouTube series for it, and I was watching it. And then she was talking about what happened then and what happened now, her recovery now. And she was just saying she doesn't want to get deep into it because it's not a one size fit all for sobriety. She's tried the whole not eating certain things and cutting it out cold turkey, deprivement. She's tried the whole not doing like drugs or like not drinking, like again, deprivement. She's tried that. Once, how do I say this? Like, so now she smokes a little bit here and there and she drinks a little bit here and there, but she feels like that's more better than cutting it out all the way, because I mean, she's an addict. It sucks to be addicted to something. I'm not about to go too deep into it because I don't know anybody who is an addict.
Right.
Yo, to wake up and fight that shit every day of your life, that's OD. Like, that's OD.
And like, that's why I don't judge people, you know what I'm saying? Especially if the ones who are trying to like, you know, be better and stuff like that, because it's like, I don't judge people because the universe can help you real quick, you know what I'm saying? And I've been there before. So it's just kind of like, I don't really judge people, you know what I'm saying? You got to give these people, you know, the credit for being farther than where they were at. So that's what I say.
Now, in that tweet, you also said that you don't go out a lot because of the goals that you want to accomplish. So how do you know when it's time to treat yourself?
Me and my instance about my finances, when I ain't got to look at my bank account and regret, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. When I had like if I had like a rough week at work or something like that, you know, if I'm having like one of those down moments, I'm like, I need to go treat myself. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'll be having those moments where I'll be like, life's short, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I need to go treat myself. And I try to balance it out and stuff like that when it comes to like going out and, you know, staying in. So, but yeah, that's just how I kind of know to treat myself. It's like when I've been really working hard and I kind of see like, you know, the goals I'm working towards are paying off. I'm like, okay, now I can like treat myself and stuff like that. When I start to see a change in what I'm doing or where I was at. So.
Yeah, because personally, I think that production 24/7, that's like toxic positivity, you know, like just because you're not productive one time a day doesn't mean that you didn't do anything productive that entire day, unless you dead ass didn't, like, but that's what's sick man, you know? So like, yeah, I think.
And I'll try to beat myself up when I don't be productive. Like sometimes you need to listen to yourself and take a rest, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I know too, when my body tells me like, I need to do, you know, either get up or lay down, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to listen to myself, you know? So that's how I feel with that.
And you kind of answered it earlier, but like besides the yoga and the meditation, like what's another thing that you do to help yourself unwind mentally?
I like to exercise, even if it's for like 5-10 minutes, like just moving around, you know, helps me. That is movement. I kind of like movement because it's getting that adrenaline, you know, through you and stuff like that. Like I just like doing like exercising because it helped me through my heartbreak and stuff like that. So I just kind of like to exercise, even if I'm running outside or taking a walk. That just helps me unwind a lot. Even like I said, I like to write too. So just writing just random stuff, like I'll just write it out, you know. If I ain't got nobody to talk to, I'm gonna just write it out, you know. So that kind of helps me unwind.
Do you still do your music?
I don't do it as much. Like music is always gonna be there. You know, I like to write more than just, you know, being the artist. I don't like that attention anyway. So I'm like, I didn't want to be in the limelight. So or I go to the studio sometimes and record music if I feel like it, you know. So I just do it for fun.
But yeah, it's because you wanted to. That's the thing too. Like earlier you asked me like if oh no, was it you? Oh, it wasn't even you. All right, well, anyways, it was this guy, he asked me, oh, what my numbers look like when I podcast. I don't know, you know, like, I don't know. I don't focus on that. I don't want to focus on that because then it'll be like, how do I get more people here than me actually enjoying what I'm doing and doing it for the, you know, the quality of it.
Yeah, because you focus on who's not listening, and you know what I'm saying? You kind of focus on what you don't, you know, have, what you're lacking, or who's not listening, stuff like that. Like when I first started, I was looking at these, like even now, like I don't even be checking the numbers. I just be putting stuff out there. I'm like, shit, to hell with it, you know?
Because you want to do it.
I don't know, it's somebody. Even when I post though, nowadays, like, you know, that's like with social media and likes. Everybody be checking you know, who's liking my picture and stuff like that. Nowadays, I post it and go. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, it's for my page anyway.
Yeah, like, and I had did a vulnerability episode a couple weeks ago, and it was just talking about like, damn, like, maybe I feel like I was a hater. And this girl, she just wrote into me, basically just saying how it's related. She felt like it was relatable. But it's just crazy because like even one person, like you touched somebody, like somebody felt that it was like, oh, okay, I could see where she was coming from, or I feel that, or, like, so it doesn't matter how many people you touch. It just matters that you're touching a person, of course. It just matters that you like reaching somebody,
Yeah. No, I get it. Because sometimes, like, when some people be reaching out to me saying, oh, what you said helped me, this, that, and the third, I would just be thinking, like, damn, because I was going through the same shit. I was just trying to help other people about. And that's why I did my podcast, Note to Self, because it's kind of like, yo, this is what I went through. You know what I'm saying? This is what I went through. This is how I got over it. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know, like, people can relate because, I ain't a celebrity or nothing like that. I go through the same stuff like everybody else do.
Everybody else, yeah. And speaking of things that you go through, have you ever taken an L that you couldn't bounce back from?
Ooh, I haven't really been through anything I couldn't bounce back from, because I really wouldn't be here if I hadn't. But because it was situations where I didn't think I couldn't like bounce back from anything, but eventually I did bounce back, Yeah. I'm like, because eventually you end up doing it, but not in that time frame that you think you expect it to be. So like heartbreaks, for instance, you think you're gonna be over in next week. The hell you ain't.
Hell you ain't.
You take some time and stuff like that. It's like, even like me, like in 2019, I had left my job that I'm back at now, but just in a different position. And like when funds got low, because I had took my retirement out when funds got low, I'm thinking like, yo, like I'm really about to be out here with no car, none of this, that, and the third. So I didn't think I was gonna bounce back. I didn't think, you praying and stuff. I'm like, dang, I'm like, the universe really got my back. So I was at a moment where I didn't think I was gonna bounce back from that. But now just fast forward like a year later, I'm like, dang, I'm in a better position than I was before. So
it's crazy because like the universe, or like, whatever higher power you believe in, like if you deadass believe and you know that you do right by people or just do right by yourself, like that shit happens. Well, before there was times where I didn't have no fucking money, like deadass broke or poor or something, and literally God has made a way for me to like have lunch that day. Like something as simple as that, and it's like I feel like you can go on and on and on about God and if he's real and, universe and what you put out is what you get and this and that. But if people don't feel it and people don't experience that shit, then you could say whatever. Like you could talk in one ear and go out the other. So
sometimes it'd be like, yo, how did I do that? And certain things when I manifest, I'm like, dang, I'm like, was that easy? Because sometimes I manifest, I'll be overthinking shit. I'm like, this ain't gonna work out. I'm like, see, I already messed up. So but yeah, I just try not to overthink a lot of things now. Like being low in that position like really humbled me, you know what I'm saying? But also it kind of got me to where I'm at now, especially connection wise. It just made me realize like, you don't really need money to be happy. You know what I'm saying? You don't really need that. And that's what I kind of learned throughout the whole process. Like not saying that I want to be back in that position, but it was kind of cool. I'm like, I started from the bottom, now I came up. So yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like when you are very self-aware of where you were, how you are now, like that should be emotional. Like I be crying, me personally. I cry everything. Like
I think crying is good though, because it helps you release. Like I always tell people, release any emotion that you're feeling. That's another thing that's gonna help you. It's like releasing that emotion. Don't be afraid to cry, because I don't care. I'll cry in front of anybody now.
You see, and I'm working on that. Like me, I used to be like, not to be all like childhood trauma and shit, but before I used to cry about everything, but I wasn't holding nothing back though. So right. And my brother would be like, why are you always crying? Why are you always crying? Say it without crying. So like, say it with your chest type shit. And then before, like, after that, I was like, okay, like don't cry, and I found myself, even when I was saying don't cry, like even like emotional movies, I'm like, don't cry. Right. Or like something that's sentimental, it's like don't cry. And now I'm like, I don't want to be like that anymore, because I'm a crybaby, low key. So like feel it, you need to recognize what you feel, process what you feel, and release what you feel, like what you just said. You can't keep that shit all in your, bottled up, like, because it projects other ways. Like when people really be bugging, it's because that's something that they got inside.
They're not coping with anything else.
Exactly.
And I tell people, like, one thing that helped me stop running from my emotions, I was like, you got to feel every emotion that you go through, because you're not going to be able to cope with it in the future. If you keep running away from yourself, that's what I talk about I used to run away from myself, like my emotions. And I'm just like, when you learn how to deal with it, it's kind of like easier. Not saying that you're not going to retouch those emotions, but you'll know how to deal with it on a different level. So I always tell them, cry it out. I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna cry, be good an hour later. So I'm like,
no, yeah, true. Because you're picking yourself back up. If you're crying and doing the same bullshit, then don't cry to me. I don't like that personally. So, okay, to recap everything, which came first? Your peace of mind, your confidence, or your self-discipline?
I would say peace of mind. And then I would follow up with the confidence and then the discipline, in that order. What about you?
For me, peace of mind, self-discipline, and then confidence.
Yeah, that discipline be hard. I'm like,
but I'm glad that you came on today. Dropping.
I know, right? I know. I like doing I like doing podcast interviews, because it's just I like talking to people now, like being communicative, and just kind of seeing people's other views of things and stuff like that. So like I said, the podcast is growing, like everybody's growing, and you just don't know like who's listening.
It's true.
And I thank you for having me, because I'm like, I didn't even expect that. I was like, oh. I was like, the topic that I can discuss.
So I wanted to hit you up for like maybe 2 months now.
Oh.
I did, and I just was going back and forth, but I was like, I swept it under the rug, like, nah, it's nothing, whatever. Okay. And I then, like, when I noticed it wasn't nothing, I was like, nah, I really want her to come talk. And then I spoke to my therapist about it, and he was like, so just ask her, just put your toe in, just
nobody.
Just ask her. And I just was like, nah, I'm scared. What if she say no?
Oh, so, I'm not in that type of part. People be like, oh, I'd be so scared to approach you. I'm like, why?
So I really do appreciate your time and the fact that you came to talk about this topic, because not a lot of people can say that they're truly one with themselves, And of course, like you said, you still have your ups and downs, and you still got things that you feel like you need to work on. But I feel like that you fucking shine that shit. So
period.
So I myself am still learning to accept who I am while treating myself with grace. So I definitely do appreciate the help today. I just want you to tell everybody where they can find you, they can find your podcast and your Serenity Candles.
Oh, well, you can find me on Instagram at Juriah Mone. I'm on Twitter too. As far as my candles, you can follow my, it's in the link in my Instagram bio, but Serenity Candles. And my podcast is Note to Self. I gotta throw that back in my bio. But you can find it on Apple and Spotify and all that good stuff.
Don't forget to keep up with Juriah. Follow her podcast page. Follow her Serenity Candles page. Look, supporting Black businesses, period. I myself had a great time. I've learned a lot throughout this conversation, and I just hope that I was able to help you guys bring forth some kind of message in your lives, or implicate something into, your life. So stay tuned for the next episode of Something Worth Listening to. Until then, you guys know where to find me, SWLT by Ken. Bye.